Episode 65, Distractions That Suck the Life Out of Your Business. Hello, and welcome to the Gayla Scrivener Show. I'm so very glad you're here today. Now, you're in the right place if you're looking for ideas and inspiration to start and grow your own small business. Just because you're a small business owner doesn't mean that you think small. On the contrary, you think big. You have big goals. Now, I broke away from the 9-to-5 grind and was stifled by a cubicle to create a work-from-anywhere lifestyle. Having the freedom to work from practically anywhere is a cool feeling. But here's the thing, though. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen without work. But all the time and effort, the learning and the stretching is so worth it. Every week in this podcast, I'm sharing my experiences and my perspective that I've had in growing my business and achieving the work-from-anywhere lifestyle. You too can experience wonderful adventure and freedom as you live life on your own terms. Now be proud to be small, yet always think big. When you're working for yourself, you have to become even more disciplined than you may be for working for someone else. You are held accountable when you're working for someone else to showing up for work just to get paid. You have to clock in and be focused on the work that you're tasked to do. A lot of places still have rules about receiving personal phone calls and when you can and can't take breaks. There are rules of where you need to be and when. There's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that. You've got to have some sort of order, some sort of consistency, some structure. All organizations need that. All organizations need to have their team to have complete focus and treat the team fairly. So rules must be established. It's how you get things done. And you know where you stand when you work for someone else. Most of the time, I'd have to say, you follow the rules, you show up, you do the work, you get paid. But now you're working for yourself. There are no rules. You make up the rules. You are the one who's gonna make up the consistency, the processes, and you're starting with a blank slate. And for some, it's easy. But for others, this type of freedom really throws you off. You don't know even where to begin, so you easily will get distracted. You may say that you just don't have time, but in reality, you will make time for things that are really important to you. And if creating and growing your own business is truly important to you, you'll find the time to move it forward. Working from home or working for yourself wherever you may call your office, you will be challenged with many distractions. What can you do to alleviate some of those distractions? Distractions can suck the life out of your business. First, identify the distraction. You may have a ton of distractions, but focus on just one at a time and start trying to alleviate those. What is that one distraction? What's one of your distractions? For me, and perhaps for many of you, maybe watching TV can be a distraction. And TV is fun and entertaining, but TV can also be that time sucker. You can sit down in an evening intending to watch only one show to unwind after a long day's work, and then before you know it, the entire evening is gone. Those marathons of DIY programs or mystery shows or comedy programs, whatever they may be, are designed to keep you watching, one right after the other. Even if the marathon lasts 3 to 4 hours, since you like that first show, it's easy to say to yourself, oh, just one more. And much of the time, our attention and interest is only broken when a different program comes on. Only then you may get up and do something else. Or you may choose to sit and channel surf until you find something else to eat up more of your time. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, I do enjoy watching TV for entertainment. Sometimes it's a great release of tension or a way to unwind. And TV, can be entertaining and fun. but also can be negative to your mindset. News, for example, negative news, and all the bad that's in this world is reported far more often than positive stories. Things are blown way out of proportion. Things are dramatized. And oh my goodness, just getting the weather forecast, sometimes you'd think it's the end of the world. The fact is, negative news draws more attention. Therefore, there's more and more viewers for the station. And more viewers means more advertisers. And that's just how things work. But we have a choice in our consumption of our entertainment. And I choose not to watch TV very often. It does two things for me. I stay positive, and I don't let watching TV suck my time away when I could be doing something much more productive. I'm not going to lie to you, though. I do watch TV occasionally. I've even occasionally got sucked into time-wasting activity on binge watching. For example, I want to say over a year or more, I think, my daughter had kept saying to my husband Robert and I that she thought we would enjoy this Netflix series called Stranger Things. She said that it was set in the 80s and there's some reference to ham radio stuff, and she really thought that we'd get a kick out of it. She kept after us for months, and each time she'd ask if we'd seen it yet, we'd say no. We don't have a Netflix account, nor do we intend on getting one. We do have a TV at home, but we use it mainly as a computer monitor. A 32-inch TV is great to work on designing stuff, that's for sure. I like to see things way big when designing newsletters or designing memes or images or whatever with my Adobe Creative Cloud account. We don't have cable or satellite service either. We do have an antenna, but we rarely use it because, we're on the go. We work from anywhere. Any station that we have, though, at our home base, doesn't really come in very well. So, we don't care. So we use our TV as a monitor. So getting back with Megan nagging us for, a year or more about watching Stranger Things on Netflix. It wasn't until recently when Robert and I were at her apartment for a visit that she said, "Hey, you're here? We've got to watch this together." So we did. We ended up watching 2 episodes that evening before we went home. Let me say, we went home later than we had planned. Then, a few weeks later, Megan had her wisdom teeth taken out, and I was her driver and caregiver for the day. Most of the day, in between caring for her, I had been working on my laptop at her apartment. And quite frankly, she was sleeping for most of the afternoon after her procedure anyway. And it was pretty quiet. Then, even though she was fine by early evening, to be by herself, she had asked if I'd spend the night, just to keep her company. And I believe it was time well spent because she's moving to Florida very soon and our days were numbered on the actual time that, we'd be spending together. But that evening, we also invited Robert to come over, and the 3 of us got all comfy on her little couch, and we finished watching the entire first season of Stranger Things. We binge watched. It took all evening, and we were up well past midnight. The show sparked comments and conversation, and we all had fun. Should I have been doing something else during that time? Maybe, but I don't feel guilty about it. It was a way to bring the 3 of us together and be in the same room together, and that doesn't happen very often. It was also a much-needed break from the routine and the grind of my regular work schedule. Sometimes we need distractions, but if we aren't careful, those distractions will consume all of our productive time. That's why I don't watch TV often. It's a distraction that can easily swallow you up. Actually, it swallows up your time if you let it. I've known for years, that for me, watching TV and having it readily available eats up a tremendous amount of my time. So when I was a young mother, working full-time and going to school to finish my degree, I discontinued our cable service. We didn't have very many channels. Poor Megan, when she was growing up, she didn't have cable. She was quite in the minority of her friends, that's for sure. It did make things easier for me. First, I didn't have that bill to contend with, and second, I cut down on the distraction of watching the TV when I should have been studying. It wasn't until after I graduated with my degree that I went ahead and added the TV service for a while. And then later, as Robert and I got into our work from anywhere lifestyle, we decided that that was a distraction and an expense that we just didn't want. So no matter what it is in life, if you find yourself saying, I should be doing ... whatever that is, and yet you are watching TV or doing some other activity that's taking you away from growing your business, perhaps you need to cut it out of your routine, at least for a period of time. There's going to be a trade-off. In order to achieve and do one thing, what is it that you're going to have to give up? If you have a day job and really want to create your own business, you really have to be even more attuned to how you spend your time. You have to even be more disciplined. You go to your day job all day and then you get home. So then what do you do when you arrive home? Do you have TV time in there? Do you routinely watch the 6 o'clock news? Then maybe a few programs afterwards. If you are continually complaining that you just don't have time to work on creating your side business that you would want to become your full-time business, then really evaluate your TV time and trade it for working on your business. Working on your business may mean finding the time to read a book, take a class, or any other personal development to help you generate the motivation and ideas to keep you going. When you're working for yourself, there's other distractions. Others around you may not realize that you're working. You'll have to set your own boundaries. Your spouse or your kids may interrupt you or want you to help them with their tasks. They may just want to talk, but at that very moment, you want to and need to be working on maybe your client work, a blog post, or whatever. You want to be working on your business. And what happens to most of us is that since it's easier to be distracted and help them than it is to feel like you're letting them down, you don't want to let your loved one down or make them feel like they're being ignored. When you set a routine for yourself and set expectations up for those around you, they'll get used to it and you'll get used to it. If you set aside, let's say, 7 to 9 p.m. on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays to clock in, so to speak, for your own business, you announce to everyone in your household that you're working now. You tuck yourself away and you'll get used to being disciplined that you are working at this particular time for your business, and your family will get used to it too. If you take the commitment that you've set for yourself really seriously, your family will notice. Not to say that you won't be challenged by distraction, but you'll get the respect. If you respect your own time, others around you will respect your time as well. And then you set those boundaries. Depending on your work environment, for me, there are certain tasks I cannot do with a lot of noise in the background. But there are tasks like data entry. I can get into my zone and work away with music in the background, and I can tune out whatever's going on that my family, may be doing. In fact, if Robert tries to talk to me or ask me a question while I'm in this zone, he'll have to repeat himself because I literally don't hear him the first time because I'm in my own world, my own thoughts. And poor guy, he has to repeat himself quite a bit. But then there are tasks that I can't have music or background noise, and that's mainly when I'm writing. I'm doing more and more writing, and I find myself, when I write, I talk to myself a little bit. Well, when you talk out loud what you've written, then you can pick up a ton of errors. And I need a whole different level of concentration. And it's hard to train yourself to get that kind of concentration. So it takes delicate communication sometimes with your loved one. I never, ever want to hurt Robert's feelings of telling him, just leave me alone. And I'm sure that you're faced with that too, because that seems so harsh. But sometimes that's what we need. We need that alone time. We need to be free of distractions. You have to find a way to avoid those distractions. Now, does that mean that you physically leave your house and go to a coffee shop or the library? Well, maybe. And that sets you away. But does it mean that you put in earplugs and put in noise-canceling headphones that aren't plugged into anything to be a signal for everybody else that you shouldn't be disturbed? Perhaps. For Robert and I, that works. We don't get offended with each other if we are talking and all of a sudden realize, hey, he's not responding or she's not responding. Well, the headphones are on. They're concentrating. Now, we may be weird, but it works for us, and neither one of us gets our feelings hurt. You'll find a way to trade a distraction for productivity. Again, I'm going to say we all have to have fun and be entertained. We need that release. We need that break so that we can be creative and stay motivated. So I'm not saying that something like TV is a distraction all the time. We must have mental breaks. But if you find yourself saying you don't have time to build your business, you gotta be honest with yourself. Is there something that you are doing in your daily or your weekly routine that could be traded out for working on your business? I bet you there is. Is it that you have decided to write, a weekly blog post, and in order to keep that commitment with yourself in keeping that schedule, you've given up an evening of TV? Well, then do it. Over time, you'll feel wonderful of your achievements as you are making progress. You are feeling great because you are keeping the commitment to yourself. Building your own business is hard, especially in the beginning. You're dealing with those fears in failing. You may lack the confidence that you're going to make this work. So distractions are just a way to feed into those fears of not making it. We do have time. You can make the time if you truly want to achieve and grow your business. We are kidding ourselves if we say we don't have time to do something. If we really want it, whatever that it is, if we really want it, we'll find the time and the resources to achieve it. It's within us to make it happen. Starting and growing your own business, there's a lot to it, and you won't find significant growth overnight. No, you build your foundation through communicating to folks through your consistent content with a blog, video, or podcast, then relaying your message through networking, social media, and email. You pick up jobs here and there, build connections, and you gain traction on growing your influence in your market. It takes consistency, it takes work, and distractions happen. Some days, you may be more productive than others. Make a plan, though. Schedule the time with yourself and keep your commitment with yourself. When you make the shift that your work is important, that you are important, then you'll be able to steer away from distractions better. You'll be able to make that mental switch of work time and fun time. And you'll become more disciplined with your time. Oh boy. I didn't mean to harp on watching TV, but I guess I did. And you don't have to work all the time. But if you are wishing and complaining that your business isn't getting off the ground, is it because you're giving in to distractions? Are you hiding behind distractions because you're afraid of, dare I say it? Are you afraid of succeeding? Now, that's a crazy thing to say, but I believe that is a fear of succeeding that isn't verbalized that holds us back. Crazy. We fear failing and we fear success. We're in this limbo stage. So either one has us drawn to distractions like a moth to a light. Well, I'm going to wrap it up this week, and I'd love to hear from you. Email me at info@scrivenersolutions.com. What is your biggest time sucker? In what ways have you been working on reducing or even eliminating those distractions? Remember, just email me at info@scrivenersolutions.com. That's info@scrivener solutions.com. Thanks for tuning in. And if you haven't done so already, I'd love for you to subscribe either on iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play. Join me out there on social. I've been hanging out mostly on Instagram lately, and you can find me there at G. Scrivener. Until next time, have a fantastic week.